And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Our team previews continue. We're going to Memphis this time around. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining us. Talking the Memphis Grizzlies. And I'll tell you what, it's in state as far as where is the Memphis Grizzlies in a loaded Western Conference. I think a lot of people want to know that as far as, are they rebuilding? Are they contending? We want to see from the experts where they're at, and no better expert to go to than a guy who talks about the Memphis Grizzlies at the Last Word of Sports, also Swell, Sports Illustrated, and he is the founder of NILvana Sports. It is Dr. Joshua Greer. And Dr. Greer, should I say just Dr. Greer, Joshua?
Josh, you can call me Josh. Yeah, just call me Josh. Really fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, only my students typically call me Dr. Greer. And so
okay.
I appreciate it. No, where are the Grizzlies? That's something I think we all want to know. Even me, who's covering the Grizzlies, who's been a fan, a season ticket holder. We are questioning that after the Desmond Bane trade. We got a little nervous. And so our big three we thought would be together for a long time. We thought we'd probably go a little bit further in the playoffs. You have a suspension from Ja Morant. You have injuries from Ja Morant and other players as well, and it kind of put us back. But it seems like we're on full steam ahead. They really do love our rookies, and I think they've been able to develop players. And so we're going to be optimistic. And so I don't think we're going to go in expecting to maybe go deep into the playoffs, but I think as long as we can play up to our competition and not get swept by OKC in the playoffs, then we've had a better year than we did last year.
One of the things I did want to ask you, it starts with a player that actually was on the Lakers and played actually for an exhibition team. As far as exhibition games, he was actually someone that the Lakers had a chance to retain and keep, decided not to because he just wasn't the player at that time where I thought he could be as far as in the NBA. I just did not think he was an NBA level player at that time, so they let him go. Scottie Pippen Jr. has since moved on to have a thriving career in Memphis. Tell me a little bit about him before we get into the main rotation as far as is concerned, because he developed in his time so far with Memphis, showed out, and was to me, the only real positive coming from that series against Oklahoma City. Just let me know your feelings on what the future could be like for SPJ.
Yeah, no, we really love him. He's a hustle player, and ironically enough, he played for the Memphis Hustle, and that's where I think he developed the most is down there. Last year at the Summer League, he was playing lights out. He deserved to be the MVP of the Summer League. In my opinion, didn't get it. That's okay. He could be a candidate for most improved player, I think, in the league this upcoming year if he continues to develop. And he's getting those opportunities because the Grizzlies have to be the most injured team in the NBA as of recent. They played more players 2 years ago than any team has in the last 20 plus years. And so whenever that happens, the next player up. And so he was the next player up, and he's playing well. He's playing smart. He's not creating turnovers, and he's that hustle guy on defense. So we really love Scottie Pippen Jr., and we're excited to have him here in Memphis.
He has really developed his game. But the one thing I want to ask you is your major acquisition, or one of your major acquisitions, because you did get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who we'll talk about in a sec, is Ty Jerome coming over from the Cleveland Cavaliers as a free agent. Kind of plays the same kind of position. I guess you could play both of them, SPJ and Ty Jerome coming off the bench. But I was kind of taken aback a little bit. Not because Ty Jerome isn't a good player, because during regular season, can score, could do a lot of good things with the ball. Didn't actually do very well in the playoffs, but again, a lot of players could say that in their first real taste of the playoffs. But where does it stand now for a guy like SPJ, knowing that this team brought in another major ball handler at a much more expensive price?
Yeah, for sure. I still think that he'll get playing time, and there will be a rotation, which they fit in. We're still trying to figure out how our rotation is going to be. There's not been a lot out of Memphis on really how they're going to play. They play up tempo, They're really fast. So it will be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. But we're excited to have Ty as well. He's a little bit higher percentage shooter at the 3-point line, which we need. I don't think any team would deny that. And anytime you can get a talent to come to Memphis, it feels like it's a win. We've had so many people bash the city unfairly, and so therefore to have him joining hands, we're welcoming and excited to have him. So we'll see what happens with Ty. But yeah, we need to hit threes. We are not a good team from outside the arc. And so that's something that hopefully he can help improve upon.
Once again, I've got Dr. Joshua Greer. Please go ahead and check out the great work that he's doing today at The Last Word on Sports, NILvana Sports, which he founded, and also as well Sports Illustrated, covering the Memphis Grizzlies right there for you. So I guess any type of success. And at the end, one of the questions I will ask you is if everything goes right, how does it lead out for the Grizzlies? But if there's any chance in this equation, it all has to start with Ja Morant. I understand we'll talk about Triple J and the big extension and the security and whatnot, but it has to all start with Ja Morant. How much more do you think this organization, or how much longer do you think this organization will commit to Ja Morant because of what's gone on in recent years, the suspensions, the injuries? He can't stay on the floor for one reason or another. His type of play may be limiting as far as the overall grand scheme of things, because his play is maybe more reflective on a regular season success than a playoff success because of his limitations as far as shooting the ball and whatnot. As he gets older, his athleticism, like many, is expected to wane just a little bit by a little bit. I didn't say this year, but it could happen at some point. How much longer does the Memphis organization commit to Ja Morant?
Yeah, that'd be a good question to ask. And honestly, without being negative towards my team, I don't truly have an answer. We're hoping to see more development, almost like Vince Carter did. They were similar players. They like to attack the rim. Last year, Josh said he wasn't going to dunk. Obviously, he was dunking still and got hurt because of that. So it will be interesting to see how long the front office does back him. But he is Memphis, right? He is the culture of basketball, and I think they want to keep him around. And sadly enough, regardless of how you feel of the individual player, and he went to Murray State, which obviously I went to Murray State at the very beginning, so I know the city, the culture, and it's important to understand that he sells tickets. He's a regional player, and I don't know if they will trade him unless they feel like they can get something special in return. The Desmond Bane trade blew everyone back, but then you see the compensation that they got. I believe someone stated that they thought that Ja Morant was traded when they heard 3 first-round draft picks. And, to get that for Desmond, we all love Desmond, but that's something you can't turn away from. Does that type of potential happen for a Ja Morant where they offer 4 or 5 first-round draft picks, or maybe a star and 2 or 3 first-round draft picks? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they feel like they can't get over the hump. But at this moment, it's hard to say what his timetable is. You want it sooner than later. They're almost in a half rebuild mode. Jaren Jackson signs the deal, and the very next day he comes out, he's hurt. They're reevaluating him in 2 weeks. And so hopefully he won't miss much time. You have Zach Edey, who has a later surgery. He's going to be out most of the beginning, first half, first third of the season as well. So I don't expect that the front half of our season we're going to look awesome. And that's kind of hard for someone whenever you look at having a star, hopefully someone who's a top 10 player in the league competing at a high level. Does he get hurt? Does he try to do too much? And if you can't answer those questions, then his days are probably numbered, which – I hope not. I do like Ja.
Absolutely. No one can question his talent. His sheer basketball talent, his athleticism is still off the charts. It just gets to a point, not yet with Ja, because he has shown that he's played at an all-star level. He's played at a superstar level at times. It's just that with the constant off-court issues, whether it be health or something else, at some point, organizations, the patience, you can tell, starts to wear thin. I don't think they're at that point, like let's say in New Orleans with Zion,
Yeah.
or Charlotte could get with LaMelo. They're not there yet. It's just all it takes is one great season by John Morant and everything's a-okay. But
Yeah.
it also takes one season of a video showing more guns, or
Yeah.
doing
I feel like
something
he
else,
has
or
matured. We
or an
follow
injury,
along.
or an injury, or an
Yeah,
injury that takes
the
up half the
injury is
season.
the only thing that scares me, right? The
Okay.
injuries are the only thing that scares me. I think he has matured. We
Okay.
follow along. We got friends and family that live in that area as well. He's still a young man. He was a young man that got a lot of money,
Of
and
course.
we all have done things. And I can remember at 22, 23 years old, thank God there wasn't any video of me doing silly things. I don't condone any sort of behavior, but I think that we all learn from our mistakes, and I believe
Yes.
he has.
And again, I'm wishing the best for him, his career.
Yeah.
Hope it gets to develop fully and stay on the court, because he is absolutely spectacular when he
Yes,
does stay on the court. And like you said, he sells tickets.
he does.
So if they make a conscious effort to try and find an alternative, you take away the ability to sell tickets in Memphis, and obviously he is a big draw there, no question about it. So there is concern heading into the season for your team, like you said, with Triple J, who signed the massive extension, and then, like you said, was reported the next day
Very
with
next
an
day.
injury. How frustrating was that to go from the type where, okay, he deserved, in many people's eyes, the contract that he signed, and then right the next day, it just seemed like any questions about who were not supportive of him signing that large of a contract seemingly, at least, were thought of justified because of the fact that he got reportedly injured. Actually, the injury took place before the signing and then was reported after the signing.
Yes, correct. A lot of people were frustrated. I'm a huge Jaren Jackson fan. He's matured and grown into his body,
Great
and
skill, absolutely great
yes,
skill.
yeah, and so we're all huge supporters, but it was frustrating to kind of hear it the very next day. You're like, all right, go get your money. This is a big season. Oh, you may miss the first month, and hopefully here, I think on the 28th is when they're supposed to report back on the timetable. Hopefully to be not long. I think the first game of the season. I wrote it down here, but either
Well,
way,
the
beginning of October.
training camp begins the end of this month for
Yep.
most
Yes.
NBA teams. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I wrote that we face off against New Orleans, but I didn't write the date, obviously. But either way, our first regular season match. You're hoping he's there at the beginning, first few weeks. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know the return time for that. And the same with Zach Edey as well. So we need both of them. You don't have a 4 and a 5. That's pretty dangerous. We've signed some folks, but even like Brandon Clark last year was hurt towards the end of the year, and he's been hurt a lot lately. Love BC. He plays way above his size at 6'8", 6'9". And so we really enjoy his athletic ability. But now you're looking at having people that you probably never heard of. Jock Landale will probably be the starter for the beginning of the season, with Brandon coming off the bench if he's fully healthy.
And you got him, but you do have Sante Aldama, and he was the free agent that you guys did retain in the offseason along with Triple J. And I think a lot of people kind of overlook his contributions to the team. He is extremely skilled himself. He can step into a 4, maybe a small spot, and give you the kind of offense that you guys may be lacking otherwise.
Yeah, offensively, I think he's fine at a 4 or 5 spot. Offensively, defensively, I don't see him in a 5 spot. I would probably cry if he was against a good center, and they had him starting in a 5 spot. But he is athletically gifted. He's been playing with fire. Obviously, it was the contract year, so he played with a lot of fire that we haven't always seen the consistency with him. But he is a very talented player, and so we're excited to see kind of how he continues to develop. There's a handful of players that we're hoping will just get over that hump, like the Gigi Jacksons, like even Vince Williams. The 2 years ago, he played lights out. He came up from the hustle, and he was an everyday player. Was getting playing time, and then last year he started off the year with an injury and just never could get over that hump. So I'm hoping he takes a step forward, and then at the end of the year you have Jalen Wells, who is hurt. Obviously, the serious injury, it looked much worse, but he should bounce back, and he looked good in the summer league. Both Jalen Wells and Gigi both look great in the summer league, so hoping we continue that and see how the rest develops. But no, the 4 and the 5, they do scare me. Santi, 4, that's okay. 5, I'm not okay.
I can tell you Gigi Jackson could be a big-time scorer
Yes.
in the league. I think that every time I see him, I get that sense of really being someone that could fill the bucket. The thing is, can he be able to defend even at an average level? And if he can at an NBA level, that's going to get him a lot of burn, a lot of minutes to develop his game at the NBA level, like we've seen it develop in the Summer League and in the G League as well. So a lot of future, a lot of bright spots as far as your youth. But the brightest spot we haven't talked about yet, and that's your most recent draft pick. I am pretty darn high on Cedric Howard if everything works out right. Didn't get much of a taste of coffee. He got a cup of coffee at Washington State. He does have a varied background, a great story if people are willing to dive into it. But the talent that this kid has, he rose up draft boards greatly in the days before the draft, as I follow it closely. And that's not an accident. That's based off his sheer talent and promise. And I'm curious how you think that he should be developed as far as on an opportunity on a possible winning team in the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, we're excited to have him finally play. He didn't play at all during the summer league. We were hoping to see a little bit of him. Obviously, he is very talented. He's a high character young man, which that's what we kept hearing about. He's a hardworking young man. And so we're excited to finally see him on the court and to see how well he can play. He did have a cup of tea. I think he played 8 games maybe. So he hasn't really. I haven't been able to see anything other than a handful of games of him. So, but I definitely know that Jalen Wells and a couple other guys have spoken out and saying how talented he is and how good of a person he is. So, I will be excited to see him. Hopefully, we can see him sooner than later on a court, even if it's just developing for the G League hustle.
Because he has some skills, he has some attributes that, if developed properly, could really show out and make him a cornerstone of your team going forward. And of course, bringing in KCP, looking to have the bounce back year after a miserable season in Orlando. John Morant looking to stay healthy on the court and have a spectacular all-star season of his own while they wait for the front line to come back. If everything goes right, if everything goes according to what your hopes can be, I know you mentioned a little bit of a playoff run, but let's say everything clicks on all cylinders. How far do you think it gets for the Memphis Grizzlies?
Yeah, it could be maybe an underdog team that's able to make it past the second round. I honestly, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for us to be on all cylinders. It would be after Christmas before we get to see the entire starting lineup play together, is what it's looking like. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of these guys are going to get to play a lot of minutes that you wouldn't typically get to see play a lot of minutes. If everything went perfect, I think you can make a push. But I'm nervous about this year, more nervous about this year than I am the last 4 years, to be honest. And so we'll see what happens if we play good defense. I honestly thought there was going to be a turnaround in the OKC in the game 2. Then you have the injury and things kind of fall apart from there. So, I don't know. It will be interesting to see how we finish. I just don't think we're a championship team yet. And hopefully you play this back and you laugh at me and you're like, hey, Y'all won your first championship. Congratulations. I would love that. So please do so if we end up able to make it to the NBA Finals. Last year we had times. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say because everybody needs to understand the reasoning. Yes, the Memphis Grizzlies finished 8th overall in the Western Conference standings, but they were only 4 games behind the 2 spot and were in second place during the course of last season. So if it all clicks, it might click very well for your Grizzlies by the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. No, we went to every year, and in fact, I'm going to LA to watch them play the Clippers on Black Friday this year. But last year we were in Boston, haven't beat Boston in 10 years or whatever it was. I don't remember. But regardless, we were there, and the Grizzlies playing lights out. It's fun. It's exciting. You think this is a team that's going to make a big push, and then obviously you fire your head coach and things kind of fall apart, but you find an identity. You kind of see who they are. You kind of saw that identity, obviously in the summer league as well. They're going to be, full speed ahead. They're going to be playing fast, and they're playing a press defense. It looks like if you watch the summer league at all. So they were playing on top of their men. We were a little slow out to the arc. So a lot of people, I think every team, the last half of the season had their best night against us on the 3-point shot. I swear every time I saw it's like this team shoots 27%, but tonight they're 41. I'm like, yeah, of course they're 41%. Why? Because we're not making it back out there. So whether that was coaching or effort or whatever it may be, hopefully those things have changed.
Well, you do have a new coach, or actually was replaced in the latter part of the season. As far as Taylor Jenkins out, you have a new coach in. The new scheme, a new concept. So I do hope it works out for your Memphis Grizzlies. But before we head on out, I wanted to go ahead and ask about another team of the Western Conference, the one that I cover on a daily basis, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I ask this question to everybody I speak to on these team previews because it helps formulate my opinion on what the Lakers will be this season. So with that and how you evaluate this team coming in, what are your thoughts on the LA Lakers for this season?
Sadly, you can never count them out. I hate to say that. You can never count them out. You have 2 of the best players in the league, maybe one of the best players of all time. And you're getting a very hungry, pun intended, player that has lost a lot of weight, and I think he may be in the runnings for MVP. So I think the Lakers are going to be really good. I see them being a top 4 team. Everyone's going to be chasing OKC, I think, continuously because they're young and very talented unless an injury happens. But I think the Lakers will have a good season. Hopefully, though, on Halloween night, whenever y'all come to us for the little NBA Cup game, y'all take an L. Hopefully, maybe not, but hopefully that'll happen. But other than that, I think y'all will be pretty good.
Well, thank you for saying that. Truly appreciate it. Although NBA Cup, that first NBA Cup experience, yes, we did win it, but they felt the after effects for weeks to come. So some in our audience may not be asking for the Lakers to outright win the cup. Yes, because it does provide the team an extra game, but just the high level intensity these guys have been playing at when they play these cup games is again during that part of the season. It just the big letdown after you win it, your big come down, and now it's like, okay, now I got to go on with the rest of the schedule. Sometimes these teams don't always adapt as well as we've seen with the Lakers, and then Indiana. Was it Indiana last year? The team that won last year, Milwaukee won last year, I believe. Yeah, and as far as that's concerned. So with that, I truly appreciate your thoughts on this. But Josh, I got to go ahead and ask you this. It's a cheap plug time. You've got a lot of different ventures that are out there, a lot of different ways people can see your great work. Where do they need to go, and how can they follow you so they get the latest from Josh Greer?
All right. So the number one thing I'm going to plug is NILvanasports.com. It's a nonprofit educational platform that I have students that I'm training to teach them how to be sports journalists. And so we have currently 18 different universities that are partnered with me, and they have students that are writing all across the United States. And so the key is to give them a platform, a brand to build, just like you would back in the day for blogging, and have them share it out and understand SEO and some of those type of things. But NILvana, NILvana sports.com. And it's on all the major platforms. It's on LinkedIn, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. But that's a big one because I'm plugging my students. I'm plugging these people who are trying to jump into the sports media realm. And so I think that's really important. I also write for Sports Illustrated. And honestly, you could just type in Josh Greer Sports Illustrated and it should pop up. And then Last Word on Sports as well. That's where I cover the Memphis Grizzlies. We plan on doing some more coverage during the season for NILvana. But right now, most of my Grizzly stuff is going through LWOS. And you can type in my name or type in Memphis Grizzlies. You can find me there as well. We're really excited about this upcoming year. It is a year that I ponder, are we going to be a playoff team or not? But even if we are, how far can we make it? If we don't have the injuries we've had, and if they play up to their potential, I think we can have a good year. I don't think it's a championship team, but I hope I'm wrong. That's the great thing about this is, you can be wrong, and I pray I am. There's years I thought we should have won it, and we did not. So maybe this year, I don't think we are. We will.
There you go. Indeed. Absolutely. Just a fantastic job today. It is Dr. Joshua Greer. Please go ahead. Start off with NILvana Sports. That's NILvanasports.com. Also, again, Sports Illustrated. Go ahead and check out his great work there. And then, of course, the last word is the last word on sports. Indeed. Josh, been great having you on. I would be honored if you would like to do this again and catch up during the course of the season. But any last thoughts on the way out?
No, I appreciate it. It's good to have these healthy, even though I find you as a competitor during the season. It's good to have this dialogue and talk about our teams because that's what fandom is all about. I'm just a sports fan writing about my favorite teams, and I think we should not take that for granted. I'd love to jump back on. Maybe we could do it around the time that we face each other's, either around that Halloween nighttime or like leading up to the game. Or I think the next time we play each other is January 4th. So sometime in those areas, if you want to have this kind of dialogue, see where we're at and see how we match up. I don't wish any injuries or illness. I hope we just play better on that night.
Fair enough indeed. Absolutely. Spoken like a true fan of the organization, and I commend you for it. And again, I also want to bring our audience more information, understand exactly who are the teams that they're facing off on a regular basis, and also to fans that may be stopping by from the Grizzlies to better understand their team as well. So if they can do it off of my platform or do it off of yours, I think they are actually the beneficiary of that knowledge because of it. So yes, absolutely. Just a fantastic job, Josh. Great to have you back on. And yes, we will go ahead and catch up. I cannot say how much it is great to have you here, but that fandom just absolutely just oozes right out of you right there. It's great to see the enthusiasm, the spirit, and I hope to recapture this conversation again right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.